Welcome to class, everyone. I am absolutely thrilled to have you here today. Listen, if you're an 8th grader looking to seriously step up your communication game, you are in exactly the right place. Today's lesson is all about mastering a really crucial real-world skill, and that is correspondence writing. Specifically, we're going to look at the sheer power of the written word by comparing business letters to friendly letters. Now, this isn't just about passing some writing test, okay? This is about equipping you with a real-life tool that's going to help you be heard, respected, and effective out there in the real world.
Now, I know exactly what some of you are probably thinking right now. Why on earth would I write a whole letter when I can just send a quick text? And hey, it's a totally fair question. You've all got smartphones, and texting is basically instantaneous, right? But here is the truth of the matter. While texts are incredibly fast, letters are tools built for true connection, persuasion, and respect. A text might let your friend know you're running 5 minutes late, sure. But a letter? A letter is how you convince your school to change a policy. It's how you make someone feel truly cherished. Letters carry real weight. And this brilliantly illustrates why our communication matters on a much deeper spiritual level, too. Take a look at this verse from Colossians 4:6. It says, "Let your conversation be always full of grace, seasoned with salt, so that you may know how to answer everyone." As we learn to format and write these different letters today, I want you to remember that how we structure our words matters just as much as what we're actually saying. Formatting a letter properly, that's a practical way of showing grace and respect to the person receiving it, allowing you to really answer everyone appropriately.
Okay, so here's our roadmap for today's lesson. We'll cover 1, the power of written words, then 2, the anatomy of a business letter, 3, crafting a friendly letter, 4, choosing the right letter, and finally 5, the godly learner philosophy. So let's go ahead and get started. Section 1, the power of written words, connecting and persuading. Let's actually compare these two forms of communication side by side to really build our understanding here. On one side, we have text messages. We all know texts are casual, quick, usually pretty informal, right? But on the other side, we have structured letters. And guys, a well-structured letter is just a completely different ballgame. It shows profound respect for the reader. When you actually take the time to format a letter correctly, it basically guarantees that your voice is taken seriously, whether that's in your school, in your future workplace, or in your community. It really cuts through all the noise and confusion. Section 2, anatomy of a business letter, formal and focused. Let's break it down. Okay, let's dive right into this anatomy. The business letter is basically your primary formal tool for getting things done. It follows a very specific standard format, and it usually includes 6 distinct parts. First up, you have the sender's address and the date, usually right up at the top right. Second, the recipient's address on the left. Third is your salutation, something like, "Dear Mr. Smith," usually followed by a colon or a comma. Fourth, you've got your body paragraphs, which is where you actually state your business. Fifth is the closing, like "sincerely," for example. And finally, number 6, your actual signature right down at the bottom. Now, the structure is absolutely important, but the tone is just as vital. When you're writing a business letter, you've got to avoid slang. You need to stay highly professional and keep your writing focused on a specific, clear purpose. Remember, this structure is your tool for showing respect and actually achieving a goal. You aren't writing to just chat, you know? You are writing to inform, request, or persuade. So keep it clear, keep it polite, and get straight to the point. Let's look at a quick example you might actually use in real life. Imagine you're writing to request some new library books for your school. You'd start with your address and date, then the school's address, and use a really respectful greeting like "Dear Principal Johnson." You would clearly explain your request right there in that first paragraph, and then close with "sincerely" and your full name. Now, why does this work? Well, because using this formal structure and respectful tone makes Principal Johnson so much more likely to actually take your 8th grade request seriously. It shows real maturity. Section 3. Crafting a friendly letter, warm and personal. So, we're shifting gears a bit now. If the business letter is the serious workhorse of communication, the friendly letter is kind of like the salt we just read about in Colossians. It deepens our personal relationships and expresses our care for one another. You'll probably notice right away that the anatomy here is a lot simpler. We only have 5 steps. We start with the date, then the salutation, the body, the closing, and the signature. Notice what's missing there? Yeah, there's no formal recipient address block at the top, and usually you don't even need your own address up there either. Dropping those formal addresses makes the friendly letter instantly less rigid and way more inviting.
Now, what's really interesting about this is how the rules of tone completely change. While a business letter is strict and super purposeful, a friendly letter should have a totally conversational and expressive tone. This is the exact spot where your personality gets to shine through. You should absolutely share stories. You should ask questions about the other person's life. Really let your warmth and your unique voice carry the letter.
For example, let's say you're writing to your cousin or maybe a really good friend about a summer trip. You'd start with a date and a warm greeting like Dear Mia. Your body paragraphs would be filled with funny stories from your vacation, and you definitely ask how her summer is going. Finally, your closing perfectly matches the relationship, so you might use love or your friend followed by your name. The whole style just feels personal, warm, and highly relational.
Section 4. Choosing the right letter. Knowing your audience.
A big part of being a wise communicator is discerning exactly which tool to pull from your toolbox depending on the specific scenario in front of you. So let's compare two very different situations. If you're writing to a store because a product you bought is broken and you want to request a refund, what do you use? A business letter, for sure. You need to be formal, provide the facts, and make a clear request. But if you're writing to thank a friend for an awesome birthday gift, you use a friendly letter. Sending a highly formal business letter to your best friend thanking them for a video game would be pretty weird, right? Matching the letter type to the purpose is exactly what keeps your communication effective and appropriate.
Okay, let's do a quick little review together just to test your understanding. First scenario, writing to your city mayor to suggest a new park. Letter type, business. Absolutely, you definitely need that formal structure. Second scenario, writing to a classmate who moved away. Letter type, friendly. You just want to share stories and catch up. Third scenario, inviting a neighbor to a block party. Letter type, usually friendly, unless it's some sort of very formal neighborhood association notice. A friendly, conversational invite is going to build the best community relations. Great job! Section 5. The Godly Learner Philosophy. Education with Morality.
Before we finish up our lesson today, I really want to take a step back and remind you why we are learning these skills in the first place here at HeroesMart Academy. So the crucial point is summarized just beautifully in Romans 8:6-7. It says, "For to be carnally minded is death, but to be spiritually minded is life and peace." You see, academic excellence, like knowing how to write a flawless, highly persuasive business letter, is a wonderful thing. But academic excellence must always be rooted in keeping our minds centered on God, truth, and wisdom.
At HeroesMart Academy, we purposely intertwine biblical morality with education because honestly, education without morality can hurt. If you are incredibly smart and can write a brilliant letter, but you use it to deceive someone, well, that intelligence isn't doing any good. Knowledge and intelligence should help you make wise, God-honoring choices rather than simply making you more capable. Just as Romans 8 teaches us, keeping the mind spiritually minded leads to life and peace. So we really encourage you to pursue academic excellence, absolutely, but to always keep your mind centered on God, truth, wisdom, and righteous choices. And that brings us to our final question for today's explainer. I want you to really think about this as you log off today. How will you use your words to honor God and show respect today? Whether you're drafting a formal business letter to a civic leader, writing a friendly letter to a grandparent, or yes, even just sending a quick text message to a friend, remember that your words have incredible power. Step into your day as a godly learner who communicates with true purpose, respect, and grace. Keep practicing those letter structures, and I will see you in the next lesson.